There's a brand new report that is coming out, which involves the FDIC, the Federal Reserve, and the OCC. They recently held a crypto sprint. These three organizations came together and they said, let us look at this industry. What should we be worried about? What do we like about it? What rules apply? And what new rules could we potentially want? These US agencies are weary that there's a crackdown coming. And what they are trying to figure out is how do they coordinate their policies when the banks are permitted to engage in digital currency activities? It's one thing when new entrants, people who are challengers outside of the legacy system, they're building new technology, they're building new companies, they're building new teams, and they're trying to figure it out. But if all of a sudden you begin to let the legacy incumbent players, the big banks, the big financial organizations, all start to play in the industry, to hold these assets, to participate in these financial services, then of course the government agencies that oversee them in some form or fashion want to know what is going on, and they want to set clear guidance and rules for how they should enter into the space. Michael Su, I believe is how you say it, said that the federal agencies are close to releasing a joint statement describing the results of their crypto sprint. He said that the forthcoming releases will clarify that safety and soundness is paramount. We will proceed carefully and cautiously and will hold banks to the same. He's the acting chief of the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. We then have a second quote from him that says the agencies are approaching crypto activities very carefully with a high degree of caution. I'm not personally surprised that we have the FDIC, the Federal Reserve, and the OCC saying, listen, this is all new. We need to figure out how it works. We need to approach it with caution. We need to make sure that we keep safety and soundness as paramount. That all is almost, of course, they were going to do that. The question becomes, though, when they actually issue a joint statement, will they take a position on certain aspects of the industry? Will they say, we believe this is legal or this is within the regulatory bounds, but these other activities are not? Or will they simply provide guidance that tells banks to be cautious, to make sure that they are keeping safety and soundness? We don't know yet, but this report is coming. And so to see them saying, hey, we are going to have a crypto sprint, to see these three organizations working together tells you that they are taking it seriously. What ends up happening is there's a very unique innovator's dilemma. If you are a legacy bank and today your entire pride of your business, your brand, your relationship with your customers is predicated on the fact that we are conservative, we do not take risk, you can trust us, right? We are the trusted third-party intermediary. The second that you start to go into some of these new technologies, some portion of your customer base is going to say, wait a minute, I thought you were conservative. Why are you playing in this new stuff? And so ultimately, the belief of the challengers, the new industry, the people in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, they believe that many of the technologies they're building will end up competing with and potentially becoming superior to the legacy system or to the legacy players. And so if you are a legacy player, you have to make a decision. Are we going to ignore it? Are we only going to focus on our core business? Are we going to continue to let the cash cow run? Or are we willing to potentially disrupt ourselves by going and using some of the new technology? Now, of course, there are some people who will navigate this correctly. I always joke that Goldman Sachs has been around for more than 100 years. They literally have navigated everything from the creation of the internet, telephones, mobile phones, etc. They have been able to navigate many, many technology innovations and evolutions. So people like that who continue to reinvent themselves, who continue to incorporate new technologies and become successful, they are likely to actually do pretty well here. It's in the DNA of what they do is to use new technology. But there's plenty of old school firms, whether it's because the leadership team is out of touch with technology or their DNA is just they're the last mover. Those are the people who are most susceptible. Because it's one thing when the internet comes around or when mobile phones come around. Those are technologies that could help you do your job, but they're not directly a replacement for your services. They may help you do a better job, but they don't necessarily replace what you do. This is different. If all of a sudden you're talking about, hey, we're in the lending business, but there's a decentralized lending opportunity, that ends up being a zero-sum game to some degree. So what I think we're going to watch happen is that there's going to be a contrarian idea today eventually become a consensus idea, which is these banks are going to continue to push further and further and further into the industry, and they're going to embrace this new technology because they're going to have to. Now, many of them are waiting because they need this guidance. They need to have their compliance officers, their lawyers, and their regulators give them the green light. If the OCC, the Federal Reserve, and the FDIC come out and say, listen, we give you the green light within this parameters, within this box. Go do these activities. As long as you do these activities, you're good. Expect every single bank or financial institution to immediately run to that area. So in some way, when the regulators and the lawyers and the compliance departments and the FDIC, Federal Reserve, OCC, et cetera, come out with this guidance, they essentially are going to be putting a much bigger tailwind behind a certain part of the industry. So we'll see how that happens. Are we shocked at all that one, these organizations are coming together and working together to do this? And two, what do we think is going to be in the report? Do we think it's going to be kind of an attack on the industry? Or do we think that it's actually going to serve as a net positive and they'll draw those parameters and banks will now start to participate in a more meaningful way?
I think it could be both.
Okay,
and what
explain.
I mean by that is by attacking certain parts of the crypto ecosystem and industry, it could be a net positive, right? I think that if you go after the stuff that is bad, things that are obvious scams, things where people are losing money, things that are not regulated, things that do not make sense, those are technically an attack on crypto as an ecosystem. You can debate whether it's a good part of crypto or should be included in the general thought process, but it's an attack. But I think that also brings a net positive when it comes to the overall industry, because when you look at things like Bitcoin, it stands for everything that's good about the industry in my mind, right? And there's nothing that they're going to be able to do that says, hey, we're going to shut this industry down, Bitcoin's going to go to zero, and we don't want any of it, right? Like, it's just not possible. We've seen other countries attempt to do things like this where they're not allowing ownership, they're banning mining, they're doing all these things. And Bitcoin's gotten to a point now where I believe the network is way too strong, the ownership base is way too strong, politicians own it, right? We've gotten past the point of what they can do from a shutdown perspective. And I think what they're going to do now is try to put some controls in place that make these markets little safer. And I don't think Bitcoin is the worry when it comes to that, right? I think it's some of these other altcoins, some of these other projects, some of these other scams, quite frankly, that are going to be hurt by these rules and regulations whenever they do come out, or these procedures. And I think it's going to be a net positive for people who own Bitcoin specifically.
The three agencies working on this, the Federal Reserve, the FDIC, and the OCC, it's great that they're all coming together to work and look at one specific industry. They've been working on this crypto sprint, and I put that in quotes because they've been sprinting for months now. They started this, I believe, in May. So, look, I think Michael said it, and he's been hinting at the fact that the results of this report will not be industry friendly. I think they're going to try to crack down on the industry within stablecoins and cryptocurrencies and how banks operate within that realm. But look, we can only see, and we kind of just have to sit and wait until the results are published for everyone to see. But yeah, look, I don't think it's going to be industry friendly. I think there will be some parts that help. And I think a little bit of regulation is good for the industry because there's a lot of skeptics around the industry about what people can and can't do. And people call it the Wild West of crypto, right? Like, there's not a lot of rules in place right now. And I think over the next few years, we're going to see a lot of different rules be established, whether they're good or bad for the industry.